Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know
Hey,
what
Nail,
it
play
is.
that shit.
Oh yeah!
Oh man, this man got the background.
You already know,
Keep
man.
that money, man. Keep that money. Take to the house. Ain't no fuck that shit in. For sure.
Easy money, easy money.
Easy.
Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I
knock on wood,
said,
knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two from Florida. It doesn't get better than that shit.
you gotta put that shit up.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You
you're
last.
last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need a Sports podcast. You already know how this goes. Bryce, my dog Cam, back with another week of picks, recaps, everything. You know what the deal is, man. Here to recap week 2. I told y'all we was gonna get back on track. We let y'all down week 1. We apologize, but we made up for it, man. So if you listen to the pod, you made some money this weekend. If you didn't listen and you didn't put the best in, shame on you. It was easy bread. Boy, Cam got to start it off nice and early Thursday night football. Jordan Addison over 42.5 yards. Easiest bet in the world. I had even given it to some of my homeboys in the prize picks parlay. First half, I think he had like 9 yards. Then they're like, man, you going to let us down. I'm like, relax. You see, they've been throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. The Eagles going to try to key in on that more. Jordan, all he needs is one shot. Opened up that second half, took that shot down the middle off the post route, touchdown. Jordan Addison for like 50 some yards. It's like easy bet right then and there. But yeah, man, Cam got to start off with that dub, so we was 1-0 on the weekend. Then, Sunday came around. Didn't get off to the best start. My Chiefs, I don't know what's going on with the offense. We sold this week again. Patrick Mahomes could have easily had 4 touchdowns thrown, but because of stupid penalties, turnovers, didn't get that done. So that was a loss. Then Giants, oh my God. They came back and won, but starting off 20-0 to the Cardinals was not in my deck of cards for the weekend. I don't think anybody in the country saw that happening. Through the first 6 quarters of football this season, the Giants were outscored 60-0. Then of course they come back, but I get hooked because I had them 3.5, thinking like, hey, you just got your ass kicked at home by Dallas 40-0. You gonna come out and whoop up on the Cardinals 3.5 easy. No, they kick a game-winning field goal after coming back from 20-0 and down 28-7. So took an L there. Cam with the Packers, man.
Oh man.
Go ahead and talk about that because Jordan Love sold us on that one for sure. I was like, I was so sure that the Packers were handling business when it was 24-12. I actually ended up clicking off that game and going over to the Bengals Ravens. And then I didn't even realize the Packers were losing until you texted me and was like, Packers finna sell us. And then I switched back and see Jordan Love. I don't even know what you want to call it. The butt sneak when he tried to take the QB sneak and they didn't have the signal down, and so the center didn't hike the ball, or the cadence down. I mean, and he runs into his offensive lineman's ass and stumbles. Like, come on, man, Jordan Love, you could have beat the Falcons, dog.
I know, man. It was just frustrating to watch, man. He started off good, but at the end he just completely failed us, lost to Desmond Ritter. It's crazy to say that. But shout out to Bijan, man. Bijan been balling, man.
That run game for Atlanta, I feel bad for Kyle Pitts and Drake London owners on fantasy and stuff because they're not getting no production. But if you got Tyler Ledger and Bijan Robinson, you home free.
Exactly.
Shoot, even Desmond Ritter, even though he can't throw the ball, he running it too. I'm like, if that's all they can do, more power to them. I'm still not a believer,
Yeah.
but I give them their props for this week. And they came back and got the dub at home. So they moved 2-0 up. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. Then Monday night, this is why also, if you're listening and you don't follow us on socials, you don't follow us on Twitter, how you gonna stay up to date for real? Because you probably, through Monday, you're like, dang, these picks lost. Now what are we gonna do? Well, I had it. I had the plan. We was gonna get our get back regardless. Came with the teaser from Sunday Night Football. Patriots plus 7.5. That cash. The other two legs on the teaser. Saints -3, and then Pittsburgh Steelers +3. Now the Saints, they sold me on the -3. It was a push because they wanted to let Carolina just walk down the field the last 3 minutes of the game and score and get the 2-point conversion to cut it to 3. Cam, he was smart. He took the ML. So if y'all tell Cam, easy bet right there. Cashed out Cam 2-1 on the weekend. Money. Take it to the bank. Saints, they sold me on the push. It is what it is. So I added that teaser, and then I had a parlay of Saints -3, Steelers +3. Steelers covered. Of course, I had the Steelers +2.5 straight bet. And I told y'all too, I hinted, I was like, you should probably bet Steelers ML. I think they'll win the game. Thank God DePerv Watson is straight garbage. so the game. DePerv Cosby, man, can't keep his hands to himself. You see him with the two face back penalties. I ain't never seen that in a quarterback. But we're going to talk about him later for sure. But yeah, so Steelers won the game, covered. With the Saints, it was a push. I put 2.5 units on the bet. So I cashed out 1.75 there. Another one on the Steelers ML. And then the teaser cashed out 3. So we got the money back in blood. I tried to tell y'all, like, I got y'all covered. Just stay tuned in with the page on all the socials, and we're gonna bring y'all money all season. So that's the bet recap, for the week. We got some locked in for week 3 that we'll touch on at the end of this episode. Not gonna lie, it's a lot of lines this week that I just do not like whatsoever. It's a lot of heavy lines. Vegas is projecting or trying to entice people to put money on a lot of blowouts. And any given Sunday, you have a turnover here or there, turn the ball over on downs, miss a field goal, and the next thing you know, you can end up like San Francisco bettors last week who bet -7.5.
Bro, that was
and they
crazy,
kick a field goal at the butt. Did you hear the reason why?
Yeah, I seen the reason why. He's wild for that, bro. He's wild for that.
So somebody let him know. They dialed in like, yo, it's a lot of money on the San Francisco -7.5. Kick that field goal now, or the mob gonna be at your house. That's all that was.
They definitely be knowing like the lines.
They
know
can't
lines.
not know, especially with like the sports books partnered with the NFL now. Like
they know the lines.
Half the time when like I know the Chiefs have been doing it. I don't know, maybe you could tell me about the Texans, but like when our Twitter, the team Twitter tweets stuff before the game, sometimes they will use a graphic and it'll be like game day and it'll have the over-under sponsored by, what is it, DraftKings or FanDuel, whichever, but I forget what book is the official partner. It might be BetMGM. It's one of those that's the official partner, but it'll have that in the graphic and it's like, bro, everybody knows it. Like, everybody knows the lines. There's no way you don't know. Mm-hmm. So for y'all that aren't aware of what we're talking about, the San Francisco 49ers were -7.5 favorites versus the Los Angeles Rams this week. They are up 10. Los Angeles has the ball with a minute to go, no timeouts. They're driving, they're stalling. They get to around like their 30-yard line with like 4 seconds left, down the ball, and they elect to kick a field goal, which, like I said, it's -7.5 covered. They're down 10. Kick the field goal at the buzzer. It's good. If you have +7.5, you took a huge sigh of relief. If you have -7.5, you were cursing out the TV and Sean McVay, like, why the hell did you do that? And then his reasoning was he was worried about at the end of the season when tiebreakers come into play, point spread is one of the main or one of the first factors that gets put in to see who makes the playoffs. So he was worried about the point spread difference. And that's why he went for the points there, even though he knew they could no longer win the game.
Yeah, okay, bro.
Politically correct excuse. But Sean, we know that you know
Yeah.
that there's a lot of people that probably had a lot of money on that 7.5 cover, and a couple of kneecaps are probably gonna be on the line and get busted if that didn't cover. So you gave the right answer. You off the hook for now, but come on now. I've never seen that before. Like we've only been doing the betting stuff for probably 3 years now or whatever, but I've never seen that. And it just makes it seem that much more funky. Like, man, you partner with the sports books, social media, and gambling is such a big portion of the game. Now you got players gambling. Like,
Exactly.
everybody know what's going on.
Yeah, come on. We
Come
ain't
on.
naive, man.
You can't put an okey doke on us like that, but
we know what's going on.
We're gonna let you have it. But yeah, that happened. But like I said, that's coming at the end of the episode, as always. But let's get into a few of these topics covering week 2 of the NFL. And it's a lot of surprises, man. It's a couple of teams that are 0-2 that were, some might say Super Bowl favorites, some favorites to win their division, fringe playoff contenders, however you want to put it. And then there's some teams that are 2-0 that some people thought would be picking in the lottery. Now, obviously, it's only week 2. A lot can change. You can see how injuries can affect the whole team. It's looking like with Cleveland, their season is in serious jeopardy with the way Deshaun Watson's playing, and then Nick Chubb is now out for the season with his dislocated knee. But we're gonna start off with the group of 0-2 teams that were not projected to start 0-2. And we're gonna, discuss if it's time to hit that panic button for real, or it relax. It's only week 2, like they can still turn it around. I know the notes I sent you, Cam, have them listed in a certain order, but I'm gonna go backwards because I want to save the best for last. Let's start with Minnesota, man. Thursday night, lose to the Eagles. I believe they had 5. It was either 4 or 5 turnovers. I think it was 4 turnovers for them. The Eagles also had a fumble. So 5 turnovers total in the game, but it looked like they was out there playing hot potato with the ball. Like, especially that first half. I think it was 3 fumbles within the span of 10 minutes. It's like, does nobody want to win this game? On offense, they look great, though. They're moving the ball. Kirk Cousins putting up points, putting up yards. Justin Jefferson hasn't been able to find the end zone yet. He almost did. He fumbled out the back of the end zone, touchback. Of course, that had NFL Twitter in the roar, like, oh, that rule needs to be changed. Like, I could really
football, man.
I get the argument. Yeah, that's football. Like, everybody knows that, and that's why you don't reach out unless it's a do or die situation right there. You live to fight another down. So, but they end up losing 28-34. 0-2. Tough 2 losses. They lose at home week 1 to Tampa Bay with Kirk Cousins ending the game on a red zone interception. This one, this game versus Philly, like I said, it was the turnovers, and then they didn't get enough stops when they needed to. Is it panic time in Minnesota? Because I know I doubt it happens, but I've been hearing rumors. I'm sure you have too. There's talks that people are saying like, oh, Minnesota loses this week versus the Chargers. There's going to be serious trade talks that the Jets are going to try to go get Kirk Cousins to try to salvage their season. Because at the end of the year, Minnesota's not going to want to put that money on their books anymore because Kirk Cousins hasn't won them anything. I don't believe that's going to happen. But at the same time, it is looking like, this season is tilting on borderline disaster considering how well they are good they played last year. And then, you have a young Justin Jefferson. Weren't able to get him extended before the deadline. Obviously, you want to re-sign him, but it's like you're letting your young talent go to waste. You don't have a defense still. I believe they just traded for Kyron Williams earlier today, running back from the Los Angeles Rams, for a 6th-round 2026 pick or something like that.
It was Cam Akers.
Oh, my bad. Cam Akers. Kyron Williams would not replace Cam Akers for Los Angeles. My bad. Thank you for correcting me on that one. But, yeah. I mean, I don't know what that solves exactly. Like I said, offense hasn't been their problem. It's the defense. I guess offense, they've had a problem. I think they lead the league the last 3 years in turnovers in the first quarter or first half or something like that. I saw a graphic during the Thursday night game. But if that's the problem that you're trying to solve, if any on offense, Cam Akers wasn't the guy to go get who's had a fumbling problem in his career lately. So that one doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, it's the defense. So for me, yeah, I'm hitting the panic button because I get it. Kirk Cousins, I think his 5 best seasons in Minnesota each year, the defense has been ranked like the 25th or worst defense in the league. So it's like, oh, how much blame can you really put on Kirk? But then at the same time, we've seen this from Kirk his whole career. When it's a big game, it's prime time. Whether it be this excuse or that excuse, he doesn't win the game. And you paying him good money. Like I said, you got Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the league. Got Jordan Addison, a young, promising rookie. You had Dalvin Cook. That relationship got tarnished. He's gone. You got a new coach, Kevin O'Connell, last year to make the offense better. They look better, but they're not winning games. And it's like you're probably gonna have to go in not into a rebuild, but you're probably gonna have to start looking to go get younger at QB, get some cap space, so you can start putting more money into that onto that defensive side of the ball. But yeah, let me know how you feeling about Minnesota. Is it time to panic or is it time to relax?
Man, if I was a fan of the Vikings, I think it was time to panic during the draft, really. I know they went out to go get Jordan Addison, but they completely did nothing for the defense. Like you've been talking, like you just said, they did completely nothing for the defense. The offense has never been a problem. Yes, Kirk Cousins he throws interceptions kind of, towards the end of the game like that. But pretty much every game for them is a shootout, and that defense just hasn't been good like whatsoever. They haven't went to haven't went to go get any pass rushers, haven't really gotten any good linebackers for them or some good DBs or stuff like that. So I think it's time to hit the panic button right now. And man, if I was Justin Jefferson, man, I would rethink about
Out of there.
I would rethink about signing that deal. I know he probably loves Minnesota, he probably loves the fans, probably love this city and stuff like that. But I mean, if he wants to win, I mean, he'll get out of there. But if he wants to get paid, go ahead. By all
Hey,
means,
I'm not. I
go
mean,
get paid.
he's gonna get the biggest wide receiver contract in NFL history, no
For
doubt.
sure.
So get your money because that's life changing. I'm just saying, if he has the opportunity and you can like obviously, like I said, it's life changing. But like how we talked about a couple weeks ago with the not on here, you guys, but like if you keep up with any other sports podcast, was it Jeff T that was saying it was Jeff T's podcast where he was saying like they asked him like, would you rather have like a max contract, 100 mil, or win an NBA championship? And he's like, give me the max contract. It's either him or Gilbert Arenas, one of them. I'm pretty sure both of them have talked about it, but they're basically like, give us the deal every day. Like that's life changing money for generations. Like at the end of the day, you could be like a Robert Ory. Like, yeah, you got multiple championship rings, but like, how many people really remember you for the reason being, those championships were won? So, by all means, get your money, Justin Jefferson. But if you want to take like, if you not gonna get 130 mil, if you want to take like 110 mil, but you on a good team that's gonna put you in the playoffs and be able to go through the playoffs, and then you can broadcast your game on the bigger stage and possibly make a Super Bowl, a conference title game. I would like to see him do that.
Mm-hmm.
Selfishly, as I've stated, I would love. I don't know how it would happen, what draft capital, what players, like all that. I don't know what we have to give up. But if somehow, some way, Brett Beach could pull off us getting Justin Jefferson and pair him with Patrick Mahomes, that would be that we already must see TV, but that would literally be every game has to be on the prime time slot every weekend with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce. Like I don't know how it worked, but that's what I want in my hearts of course. But yeah, he got to go somewhere that's to actual contender. I don't know, like I know teams that could use him, but I don't know like what cap space situations who can really afford him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd hate to see him sign long term in Minnesota if Kirk Cousins is gonna be, the guy there. But I'm thinking of it now. If you want to take, because like I said, I don't think Minnesota is gonna trade Kirk Cousins this year. But if you want to take like a chance, just saying, I'm. This is literally just popped into my mind. I don't know if it could even contractually work or whatever. But say this season does go to shit for Minnesota. Kyler Murray gets healthy. You have a good offensive coordinator and head coach in Kevin McConnell. You trade Kirk Cousins to Arizona, who's rebuilding, but they get a proven, I'll give him a little better than a game manager, but Kirk Cousins, And then you pair Kyler Murray with the offensive genius and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison in that offense, with now Cam Akers too. I know Kyler hasn't had the best start to his career, but I think that is way over exaggerated for it being Kyler's fault, to where I think it was more 70% the fact it was Cliff Kingsbury as coach and 30% Kyler. Like we from Texas, we done seen Kyler literally never lose a playoff game in high school, go win a Heisman in college, to be the number 1 draft pick and a first round. I think it was the number 3rd pick in the MLB draft. Like, we know what Kyler can do. Cliff Kingsbury cannot coach. We're talking about a man that had Patrick Mahomes and was struggling to make bowl games at Texas Tech in the Big 12. Got fired from that job and somehow got promoted straight away to not even an offense. He was going to take an offensive coordinator position. And then Arizona, we'll make you our head coach. To this day, I'll never understand that.
I've never seen anything like that.
Never seen but we know why it happened. We know why it happened.
Yeah, we know.
It's a certain way he looks, but that's another story for another day. I really think that's the reason Kyler wasn't that great. I think now with a year to rebuild, reconstruct his ACL, get that hunger back for the game, I think that would be a good trade. Like I said, I don't know if it works with all the contract details, because I know Kyler got a pretty hefty contract now too. But that's one idea I can think of. Other than that, like you said, probably in the season, sign and trade Kirk Cousins, get some more picks, try to go young with QB, and you got to beef up that defense. But then, you go young with QB and you miss, then you probably are losing Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's like, then do you have to accept fate and go full rebuild, trade Justin Jefferson, get what you can get while, he's in his prime? So, yeah, Minnesota, it's time to panic. Last year, I think they were like, it was a record like 9-1 or something in one possession games. And like we said coming into the year, that's probably not going to be able to be repeated this year, because that's like a lot of luck goes into that. Like, you can't just be that close every game and just expect to win every time. And then when they played the good teams last year, they got blown out. This year, 2 1-possession games, 2 L's. And they haven't. The Philadelphia Eagles are a really good opponent, but Tampa Bay, even though Tampa Bay is 2-0, we're still up in the air on how good they really are. But yeah, Minnesota, panic. Press the button. Next up, man, and this one is one I've been talking about since last year. New England, 0-2. Now, I was on the side of early this morning when I was creating the topics and stuff. I was more on the side of not panicking for New England, because you still have Bill Belichick defense. You don't have to worry about the Jets really anymore, because Aaron Rodgers is hurt, and I don't think they're on like a 14-game winning streak versus the Jets. I don't see they play them this week actually too. I don't see Zach Wilson changing that. So I was gonna say they could still possibly squeak in the playoffs if they could win games, because they've been in each game, that they played in these last 2 weeks. And then a TikTok came across my feed, and did you know that in 1-possession games, when Mac Jones gets the ball to win the game or tie the game, send it to overtime, he is 0-12 on those drives in his career. And he has only beaten 3 playoff teams his whole career. And one of those was Miami with I forget who their backup quarterback was last year, but when Tua was out. Another one was that weird snow game in Buffalo
Yeah.
where they threw the ball 3 times and just ran it and beat them there. And then I think it was I forgot what the other team was, but it was all the way back in 2020 as well. Mac Jones is not good, y'all. Like I've seen people try to like stick up for him, like, oh, he can game manage. He's a good quarterback. He threw for 300 and 3 touchdowns versus Philly week 1. Oh, he brought them back and gave him a chance versus Miami. Y'all, they do this every. I like once the TikTok started like playing, and like I can even clip some of it in here just to show y'all what I'm talking about. And I always say that, and then I forget to clip stuff in the actual video. I'm gonna do it. I promise y'all. I'm gonna clip it because I got it liked right now in my likes.
Can you imagine if an NFL quarterback in his third season was 0-13 when his opponents scored more than 24 points? Or if they were 0-12 in comeback games where they got the ball down by 7 or less points in the fourth quarter? Or if they had a 3-12 record against playoff teams in their career? Now, what if one player had done all of this? Because you would say he sucks. But for some reason, when I say that Mac Jones sucks, everyone freaks out. Like, I don't think people understand how bad this really is, because no defense has held a team to 24 or fewer points more times in the last 3 years than the Patriots. Mac has had precisely 21 drives in 12 games, which would have tied or won the game in the fourth quarter, and he has converted one of them. It was literally this play to put the Patriots up by 3 against the Cowboys in 2021 with 2:11 left, but Mac had just thrown a pick 6 with 2:27 to go when the Patriots were up by 1 and trying to end the game with a first down. So,
but this is something that obviously is not a coincidence. This is a pattern. They do this all the time. Week 1 versus Philly, they get the ball back off Jalen Hurts fumble. All they got to do is score a touchdown. They win the game. Mac Jones takes a terrible sack that knocks them back to the like 40-yard line, puts them, behind the chains long, and then they're not able to convert fourth down there. Then this week, Miami opens the door up for him, gives him a chance to go down, make a drive, tie it, send it to overtime, takes another stupid sack. Then on 4th and 3, I won't put the complete blame on him for this because Mike Gesicki, as a veteran tight end, you got to know where the sticks are and run your route to the sticks. Mike Gesicki runs his curl route short the yard. Mac Jones throws him the ball. He gets tackled, panics, throws it to a lineman. Lineman tries to push forward for the first down. Initially, they gave it to him, went back reviewed, didn't get the first down. Another loss. Their offense, their best wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne. No offense to Kendrick Bourne, but if Kendrick Bourne is your wide receiver 1, you're probably not going to win a lot of football games off of that merit alone. Of course, you have Bill Belichick, the greatest defensive mind ever. Not arguing that, but for what looks like another year, he cannot draft on the offensive side of the ball, and they cannot build or develop anything on that side. So for New England as well, yeah, man, it's panic time. And like I've been saying for the last 2 years now, they're not going to fire him, but it's probably just going to be at the end of the season. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots have agreed to part ways. I don't think Bill Belichick wants to retire because he wants to break Don Shula's all-time winning record. That's like the last thing he has to accomplish. But his time in New England, it's looking like it's coming to an end. Because as long as Miami and Buffalo stay relatively healthy, there's no reason they shouldn't finish 1-2 in that division. Like I said, Patriots have beat the Jets 14 times in a row. So I'm not going to say the Jets are over them, but if the Jets mess around and beat them this weekend, then it's really time to sound alarm because you just lost to Zach Wilson. But yeah, New England, I guess that's the price you have to pay because y'all were the greatest dynasty for like 20 years. So like, yeah, y'all can suck for the next 20, most likely. Deal with it. You got to see winning nobody has ever seen, ever. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all relished those last 20 years, but that time is long gone and it's not coming back anytime soon. So hit the panic button, do what you need to do, but Mac Jones is not the answer, and Bill Belichick's time is probably done in New England. And so that's where I stand on them. And I'll swing it back to you, let you know if, is it time to panic in New England, or are you still holding out hope for Bill Belichick and Mac Jones?
I'm on the edge. I'm kind of like in the middle of it, but I'm gonna go out and say I'm not gonna panic just yet. And the reason because they play two of the top like 4 or 5 teams in the league right now, in the Eagles and Miami, and they played them pretty damn tough. I feel like that Eagles game, they was in the majority of the game. They had a chance to win. Just didn't win. Same thing with the Dolphins game. I mean, they was close to win that game and just couldn't finish it. But so I'm not gonna panic just yet on them. Now with as far as Mac Jones, yes, it's kind of obvious now that he's not, the guy that they thought he was going to be, or whatever. Um, Maybe give him a little bit more time. Who knows? I doubt if he ever comes around. He's kind of looking like a. No, I wouldn't even call him like a Kirk Cousins. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. But yeah, like you said, he still got that defense on the defensive side of the ball, whatever. The offense is not that great. Like you said, Kendrick Bourne, receiver one, it's not really saying much. I know Jacoby Myers was hurt this week, this past week or whatever. That first week he had a great first week or whatever. But other than that, I'm not panicking just yet. I want to see how the rest of the season goes.
Well, hold up. You know what? I'm pretty sure because that's another thing that I seen some reports on. Jacoby Myers don't play for them.
Do he play for them?
No, so that's the thing. Jacoby Myers signed with the Raiders for 3 years, $33 million. Patriots could have matched that. They let him walk. Jacoby Myers had a good week one, and that's what you saw, those stats. But then they signed Juju for 3 years, $33 million. And right now, because of Juju has this lingering knee issue from all the way from last year with us, now it's like they're saying Juju, with the way his knee is right now and his health, he's not even a top 3 wide receiver on their roster currently. And it's like, well, for all that, you could have just re-signed Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
But y'all let him walk and sign Juju.
God, they did let him walk.
For the same contract. And now you're paying for it. And it's like another hit and miss or swing and miss by Bill Belichick on the offensive side of the ball. So
that's tough. I forgot they did. I forgot Jacoby did walk out. Now that's tough. Yeah. Like you said though, Kendrick Bourne, receiver one. Yeah, that's not really saying much. I know they still got Ramondre Stevenson, but other than that, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still kind of edge because they did play two of the top teams pretty tough. So I don't know.
And like I said, on the bright side, they got the Jets this week in New York, but that's an Aaron Rodgers Jets. Yeah. I feel like they should be able to get their first win, handle, Zach Wilson. But then they got the Cowboys in Dallas. I'm sure Bill Belichick, he's always going to have a good game plan against quarterbacks. Like, give them, different looks, change it up on them. But the way that Cowboys defense is looking, I don't think Mac Jones stands a chance. I'm not going to lie to you. They have the Saints at home. That's a winnable game with the way Derek Carr and that offense is looking right now. Then they got the Raiders, a rematch of last year when Jacoby Myers did that dumb stuff and threw the ball backwards to Mac Jones, of all people, and Chandler Jones, who God knows what's wrong with him. We won't even get into that, but and there's just a lot of reports out. If you are keeping up with that, the whole NFL is worried about his mental because he's been posting crazy on social media, and they just put him on the non-active roster. But then they got the Bills, Dolphins back to back. So next 5 weeks are kind of tough.
Very tough, sounds like.
I feel like for them to have a realistic chance, they need to go. Like, great circumstances would be they go 4-1. The best I see them realistically doing is 3-2, but I could easily see them going 2-3 or 1-4 if they don't come ready to play. And Mac Jones keeps doing what he's doing when the game is on the line with the last drive to either win it or send it to overtime. So, like I said, I'm hitting the panic button on them. because I just don't think they have enough on that offensive side of the ball. I've been saying that for years. They refuse to get top end talent over there. I get Bill Belichick can turn a nobody into a star on the defensive side of the ball, but on offense that has not been the case. And then Mac Jones, not. I mean, you called him Kirk Cousins. I honestly not mad at that comparison. He's not as prolific as Kirk Cousins is right now in his career, but early in his career, Kirk Cousins, I think that's kind of a pretty good matchup. Just a glorified game manager whose mistakes will put you in harm's way, not very mobile, takes stupid sacks, has turnover problems, fumbling the ball and stuff like that. So I agree with the Kirk Cousins comparison somewhat. But yeah, man, Patriots, like I said, you got to enjoy the greatest football dynasty ever. Suck it up. Y'all suck. It just is what it is. But next up, 0-2 teams, time to panic or relax. The Chargers, man. Los Angeles Chargers. They lost their second game in a row in overtime. As a Chiefs fan, I love to see it. But Justin Herbert, obviously they paid him, I think was it 262.5 mil this year. That's the franchise quarterback, obviously. You go get Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator. He's supposed to, we're gonna open it up. We're gonna throw the ball deep. We got this, we got that. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, you draft Johnston from TCU. You still got Palmer, Everett, the tight end. Eckler didn't play this weekend, and it's looking like he might not play for at least this week and maybe even a couple more weeks with the ankle injury. But, you're still loading on that offensive side of the ball. You got a loaded defense, Bosa, Derwin James, Khalil Mack. Herbert, as an elite of a talent as he is, it's not translated to winning football. It just is what it is. People can make every excuse in the book, but at this point, bottom line is he's not getting the job done. Week 1, get the ball first in OT, fail to get into field goal range. At the very least, don't score. Miami wins the game there. This week, I believe they went scoreless their last 5 drives of the game, let Tennessee come back, sent that to overtime. They get the ball first again. Drive doesn't even pick up a first down. They lose that one. I get it. People are going to make excuses. Oh, well, it's the defense this. Oh, the offensive play calling and that. Y'all, that's why y'all got Kellen Moore. All I heard all offseason was with Kellen Moore, Justin Herbert is going to, finally ascend to that best quarterback in the league as so many people have projected him to be the last couple of years. That's not looking like that's the case. So I get it. In a perfect situation, Justin Herbert is Tom Brady to everybody on Twitter with their scenarios. But this isn't the perfect situation. But at the end of the day, you're paying this guy $262.5 million. He's got to get the job done at least. He's got to put some game-winning drives together. There's too much talent on that Los Angeles Chargers roster. And I know Chargers fans are tired of watching them charger it up, as we call it. They're going to find a way to be the Chargers at the end of the day. And now they're having to, Brandon Staley, the head coach, is having to answer questions after every postgame is this side effects from, the 27-0 playoff choke to Jacksonville? And this week he got really heated at the reporter who asked him that. But, it's kind of relevant. He says, it's not. But that being that was the last moment they had to end their season last year. Coming in this year, obviously you want to get that taste out of your mouth. Pause. But you start off the note on or start the year off on a good note. You play a tough Miami team game 1, so it's okay, you lose in overtime, but you can't be too mad at that. It's game 1. We'll turn it around. Then to lose to Tennessee with a struggling Ryan Tannehill who doesn't look good whatsoever, and you had the lead. Come on, man. I'm not saying it's time to panic for the Chargers. The only person that needs to panic for the Chargers is Brandon Staley, and that's probably why he answered that question the way he did, because he is on the hot seat. They paid Justin Herbert that money. He's not going anywhere, which means if they don't get it together, and at least I think all they have to do all Brandon Staley has to do to save his job for at least one more year is win one playoff game, because they haven't done that in forever. But if they don't win one playoff game, it's no doubt he's definitely gone. But I'm not gonna say panic yet for the team. There's too much talent. I feel like they have to get it together. Um, they got Denver in the division 0-2. The Raiders, they won week 1, but that was versus Denver. They just got smacked by the Buffalo Bills. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't good. And then, of course, my Chiefs, who they're going to play tough. Maybe they can pull one out this year. We'll see. But with the AFC, Aaron Rodgers out, the Bengals and Joe Burrow, who that's actually the next team. Hint, hint. That's what we're going to talk about next to wrap up this segment. But there's open spot. Pittsburgh's not good as we thought. Cleveland, there's an open spot for them to make the playoffs as one of the 7 teams. They just got to win a game. And Justin Herbert got to be the elite quarterback talent that everybody hypes him up to be. I get it. He's got arm talent through the roof. But as of right now, it's looking like he doesn't have that it factor that all the best quarterbacks in the league have, where, game on the line, no matter what the circumstances are, I'm just going to get the job done. It is what it is. Patrick Mahomes does it. Jalen Hurts does it. Joe Burrow, when he is healthy. Lamar Jackson's got that a little bit to him, even though he still needs to show that in the playoffs. What Tom Brady was able to do, Aaron Rodgers. Justin Herbert has not shown that whatsoever in his career. And I'm just tired of people making excuses for him. What more do you want? They have probably one of the top 5, arguably top 3, I think, rosters in the entire NFL. There's zero excuses. So, time to panic for Los Angeles, or how you feeling about them?
Not yet, because like you said, that roster is just too good. If there's anybody time to panic, it's definitely Staley. This might be his last year if they don't get like say if they go like 9-8 or something like that. Then for sure it's probably his last year. With them, whatever. Because like you said, they not gonna get rid of Justin Herbert like whatsoever because they just paid him obviously. So yeah, I don't think it's time to panic yet. It's like like you said, like I said, that just a very very talented roster. I think eventually they'll get going. Funny enough, they played Vikings, this week. So battle of 0-2 teams.
Somebody's got to win.
Someone's got to win.
They could tie.
Yeah, they definitely could tie. The line it's even right now, so it's basically a money line. Whoever you want to go with. That's kind of funny to think about. Yeah, I'm not gonna panic on them just yet, man. Not just yet.
I'm not gonna panic on them either, but I'm just saying, for all you Justin Herbert fans out there,
he gotta do something, man.
He gotta do something. Y'all gotta cut it with the excuses. If he's such an elite talent as y'all say you gotta win some of these games. I don't care.
He's reminding me of another quarterback that just retired from the Chargers. That's all I'm
Phillip Rivers.
He's looking just like Phillip Rivers, man.
Man, but I feel like Phillip Rivers would win some of these games that they're losing. Like, yeah, one game Phillip Rivers might
choker too. He
was. He liable to throw you an interception that in the game. But he can also put together a game-winning drive every now and again. Yeah. Justin Herbert, we're not seeing anything from him. Like, off the top of my head, I can't even tell you right now the last time he got the ball and put together a game-winning drive for real and won them the game. Because I know the last 2 times we played them, or really last 3, going all the way back to 2021 when we played them in LA, he's gotten the ball back with time to either win the game or send it to overtime after Mahomes goes down and scores. And 2 of those, he's thrown interceptions. In 2021, we won it in overtime. But he had a chance to win the game before it got to overtime, failed to get him down the field. Last year, the first game at Arrowhead, he throws that pick 6 to Jalen Watson at the goal line, which changed the game. And then the game in LA, to end the game, Mahomes scored left like, I think, 50 or so seconds. They still had 2 timeouts. He throws an interception to end the game. So, Justin Herbert, they paid you the big bucks. It's time to give them their money's worth because you're not doing that right now. And it's looking like the Chargers are just kind of a cursed organization. So like I said, I'm not gonna hit the panic button yet, but a couple more of these heartbreaking losses like this, then it would definitely be time to hit the panic button. And you might see, I mean, it won't be a full rebuild because you do have Herbert, but they might have to severely alter their roster because they got a lot of money in their top end talent, and if it's not producing, they're gonna have to move off of some of those pieces and try to go younger. But like I said, not panicking. And like I said, last but not least, Cincinnati, man. Joe Burrow, not looking good. I believe he's an 0 for 15 on passes 15 yards or more down the field this year. Jamar Chase only has 7 catches, I think, for like 70 yards or so on the year. T. Higgins had a pretty good game this week, but they take an L. They're now not only 0-2, but 0-2 in their division. And just to make matters worse, Joe Burrow, as they've said, he's re-aggravated his calf injury. And if you want to know how Vegas felt about that, they were originally 6.5 point favorites for Monday night versus the Los Angeles Rams in that 2021 Super Bowl rematch. That line is now moved all the way up to only 2.5, which tells you that it's more than likely Joe Burrow is not playing, and they probably shouldn't play him if they want any chance to save the season. But it's panic time in Cincy, man, because they just made Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was the highest paid quarterback for a week, and then Patrick Mahomes restructured his deal, and now he's got the most guaranteed money in a 4-year span in NFL history. But nonetheless, second highest paid, coming off of 2 straight AFC Championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance, and to start off the year like this, man. I tried to tell. I didn't think it was gonna be like this, where it's like Joe Burrow just completely injured all the way. But I tried to tell y'all, man, the writing was on the wall for Cincy. They never, they didn't capitalize on winning the Super Bowl when they got there, and then they were on a 10-game win streak last year. Did all that talking after the Buffalo Bills playoff game. Burrowhead, we own the Chiefs. Choked that game, and now they lost some of that offensive talent, lost some of that defensive talent. Jesse Bates, Dax Hill looks to be a formidable replacement, but you only have so long in this league before other teams start to figure you out. They're not doing anything different. That offense is still, like I said, they can't throw the ball down the field right now. They're sitting on all the routes with Chase. Joe Burrow does not look like the Joe Burrow we've come to know the last couple of years. 0-2 is really like when you lose. They say division games kind of count like a game and a half. It's not just a game. You start the division off 0-2, and you still got games at Kansas City, at Jacksonville, Buffalo, one more game at Baltimore. Cleveland, who, as bad as we think Cleveland might be, they have Joe Burrow's number for whatever reason. Pittsburgh will play them tough, even though we don't think Pittsburgh's that good. I'm panicking for Cincinnati. I'm not panicking because I don't like them, and I told y'all they weren't making the playoffs. But as a Cincy fan, yeah, man, it's time to hit the panic button. You probably should have listened to Jamar Chase and sat Joe Burrow the first 5 weeks so he could come into the season fully healthy. Because 9 times out of 10, you come into the season limping, you're walking out of the season limping. You're not gonna play a full season of football and get any healthier. That's not how this league works. It's a brutal league, and with the re-aggravation, no telling how long he might be out now. But luckily for them, their schedule for the next 4 to 5 weeks isn't too difficult. I think it's Jake Browning is their backup quarterback. I wouldn't expect him to like win every game, but where are they at? I'm pulling up their schedule right now. They have the Rams Monday night at home. Rams have looked good, so I could see them dropping that game, especially if Joe Burrow doesn't play. They got the Titans at Tennessee. It'll be a tough game with Vrabel, but Tannehill might give you that game. They could possibly win that. They got the Cardinals. Now, they should be able to win that game no matter who's playing quarterback with the talent on their team. Seahawks at home. Potentially here is where you might say, 3 weeks of rest for Joe Burrow, bring him back now. Seattle's a pretty decent opponent. I don't know. I still vote you sit him, roll the dice. I think you can get a dub versus Seattle. Then they got the bye week, and then they have the 49ers and the Bills 2 weeks back to back. I think you sit Joe Burrow till that game versus 49ers, giving him 5 weeks with the bye week to rest, get his calf as healthy as it can be. I don't know how bad the strain is. Get him as healthy as possible. And at that point, if you come out the season and you're like, was this 3-4, 2-5? It's gonna be hard, no doubt. But at least you have a healthy Joe Burrow. Let's see if we can go on a run, sneak into the playoffs on the back end. But if they're gonna keep trying to play him, it's for sure over. He does not look good whatsoever. He can't scramble because his calf and his offensive line can't block. They got to get passed out quick, which is why defenses can sit on the route. So, yes, Cincinnati fans, you kind of brought this on yourselves thinking you were hot shit and you haven't won anything for real. So, I'm kind of laughing at you, but same time, it sucks. See, because it's supposed to be, a rivalry to go on for the foreseeable future. After this year, T. Higgins is going to be gone because y'all not going to be able to pay him. That window might have shut for the current roster in Cincinnati. I know Joe tried to say the window is always open for him, but for the current players they have, that Super Bowl window might be closing faster than they think. So I know obviously I got a little bias because, like I said, I don't like Cincinnati, but how you feel about Cincinnati's 0-2 start? Is it time to panic there?
Definitely time to panic. And it's getting pretty serious now. You lose a game that, you probably could have won, probably should have won. Like you said, Joe Burrow out there, he's not looking good at all. You can obviously tell something's bothering him in his calf or whatever. So yeah, like you said, man, it's time for him to you know, just sit out probably till the bye week or after the bye week. Come back that 49ers game or after that 49ers game, however they want to play it out. But he needs to sit and get some rest because, like you said, he cannot scramble at all. He can't really move in the pocket as well as he want, and he's just not really throwing like how we know Joe Burrow can throw the ball pretty much. T played out his mind last week. Like you said, Chase they playing Chase pretty well this season. I thought he's going to break out this year, but it's not looking like it at all. It's time to panic, man, because this is serious. Like this is for sure serious. You definitely called it. Right now, they're not looking like a playoff team, like whatsoever. Luckily for them, that the Jets unfortunately lost Aaron Rodgers, so there could be like another spot there for somebody. It's either gonna be out of them or the Steelers or somebody else. So like you said, they could sneak in the back end if they sit Joe for a little while, but these next couple of weeks are very important. They're gonna have to try to find. They're gonna have to try to find a win, man, somewhere. This upcoming week they got a tough one versus Rams, like you said. That's a winnable game though. That's at home. Then, like you said, got the Titans, we got the Cardinals. So, I mean, they don't have to win like at least get like two, man, at least 2 or 3, and they should be all right. But yeah, it's time to panic. I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like you said, there's a spot open, so they could squeak in, but like I said, it hurts the fact that the 2 games they've lost are in their division. So they're already that much or farther back behind the 8 ball. And then on top of that, they lost to Cleveland, so Cleveland has the tiebreaker on them. And then Cleveland just turned around and lost to Pittsburgh in the division. So they are in last place for certain right now. And they're going to have to – they have, 4 more division games? And that's including at Baltimore, at Pittsburgh, and then they're going to get Cleveland at home, so maybe they can get them at home. But I know those 2 games on the road in Baltimore and Pittsburgh are going to be – that's going to be some tough road games to win, especially because they're later in the year and there is going to be playoff implications on the line. So they put themselves in a pretty big hole. And I get it. People are like, well, the only team in modern NFL history to start off 0-2 and still make the playoffs is the Bengals. Or since we extended the season to 17 games, it's like, yeah, they did that last year. Cool. But it wasn't 2 divisional losses, and Joe Burrow wasn't this hurt. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong in Cincinnati. And they just walked into the season thinking stuff was going to be sweet, like, oh, we're going to, just cruise and we'll be right back in the AFC Championship game, possibly another Super Bowl, because our window is just wide open. That's not how it works, which is why I always state how crazy it is what the Chiefs are doing. And people just think because we watched Brady do it, and now the Chiefs are doing it, like, oh, the Bengals they can be that team too. When has Cincinnati ever been that type of franchise? Like, let's be like, it's not coincidence. It's pattern here. They have a cheap owner. They haven't always been able to get the best free agents to Cincinnati. Yes, Joe Burrow helps that because some people might want to go play with him, but it's not going to always, they're not always going to get the biggest, baddest free agent out there. Then you just did pay Joe Burrow. Well, like I said, the owner's cheap. So since you paid Joe Burrow, reports came out literally the day before game 1. T. Higgins is not in their future plans. So, he saw that. Maybe, behind closed doors, they're trying to tell him, don't worry about that. We got you. But just keep it a buck. 90% sure he's gone because they're not going to be able to pay him. And he's going to be able to get wide receiver 1 money from somebody in the league because he is a wide receiver 1. So you're not going to get him. Tyler Boyd, he's not getting any younger. Yes, he's a good wide receiver 2/wide receiver 3. But once T. Higgins is gone, and then they can put more focus back on a guy like Chase, can Tyler Boyd then be the go-to guy for real? He has spurts here and there, because he's a veteran. He's been there before those guys. So we've seen him produce, but can he do that as he's older now? Who knows? Defense, like I said, they got a great defensive coordinator, but they lost some talent. They had to let go of Jesse Bates. Couldn't pay him, and they knew Burrow's contract was coming up. So stuff starts, piling up. You only have a small window in this league. And I'm really thinking if this year keeps going the way it started, their window is definitely shut for this current roster. And honestly, I forget what episode, might have been the first, or it might have been something from last season, but there's a stat out there that when you have a quarterback and coach combo, if they do not win a Super Bowl within their first 5 years of being together, they never win one. I'm pretty sure this is Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow's 5th year together. They don't win it. Might need to look at going away from Zach Taylor. I know he's been a good coach. Got him to Super Bowl. Got him to another AFC championship. But his offense is kind of vanilla. They don't do anything special. They live and die off the jump balls to T. Higgins, the fade routes to Jamar Chase. That's not working right now. Can't scheme anything up from the looks of it. No matter how much money they dump into that offensive line, it just does not seem to get better whatsoever. And Joe Burrow is constantly running for his life. So, yeah, man, Cincinnati, they got too full of themselves way too early. Started sipping on that Kool-Aid, and now they're headed towards looking like some fools. So, goes around, comes around. Hey, that's what they get. It's not as sweet in Burrowhead as they thought, but like you said, they're at the very least these next 3 weeks. I don't know how, but they need to find a way to get 2 wins. They cannot be 0-5 or 0-4 to start this season. They just can't, or they're definitely not making the playoffs. So, yeah, that wraps up segment for the 0-2 teams to panic. Now we're gonna flip it and go to a few teams that are 2-0 that are surprising people, and talk about if they're real contenders or is this kind of a fluke. And we're going to start with one of the teams that messed up our bet this weekend, Atlanta, man. 2-0. Scraped out a win versus Green Bay. Week 1, they beat rookie Bryce Young in Carolina. Desmond Ridder has not looked great. I'm still not a believer in him. They don't know how to utilize Kyle Pitts or Drake London, but that running game is elite. Bijan Robinson, I get they have a two-headed monster, but he's really running back one. The runs he's pulling off, you can just tell it's different with him. So the running game is, props to that. No knocking it there, but can they sustain this? No, I don't think so. Like I said, they will have to make me a believer. I'm still gonna fade them week in, week out. They should have lost this weekend if the Packers could have just gotten one more field goal with some of their last drives, but they couldn't do that. Um, they're still in a tough division because two of their other division members are also 2-0, and we'll talk about them as well. But I'm not a believer, so I think this 2-0 is a fluke. I know you're a Bijan Robinson fan, obviously with UT. So are you a believer? I know you're a believer in him, but with him and his Falcons, do you believe that they can really potentially do something this year?
I'm kind of like in the middle because I do think their defense is above average and the offense. I mean, the offense is there. It's just Desmond Ritter. He's more of a game manager than like a game winner type of quarterback. Um, then I don't really like the play calling that they're really doing because they're not involving Kyle Pitts. And it's kind of crazy because the general manager and the head coach, literally their first year there, they drafted Kyle Pitts with the third overall pick, and they're just not using him for some reason. I think it's another tight end that they have on the team. I think Janu Smith. I think it's Janu. There's somebody over there that they have. I think he ran like more routes than Kyle Pitts or play more downs than Kyle Pitts. It's like, why? Why? You have a freak of nature in Kyle Pitts, one of the most athletic tight ends since Vernon Davis, and you're not using him, and you drafted him with the third overall pick. And it's just I don't know. I don't get it too much. They use Drake London more this week than the first week. But was really saving them Mr. Renegade right now. But I mean, if you look at their schedule right now, man, they got the Lions this week. That's a winnable game, I feel like. Got the Jaguars. That's gonna be I think that's a London game, I believe.
Yeah, it is 8:30 in the morning.
Yep, that's the London game. I mean, that could be winnable for them. I mean, that's gonna be a close game. They got the Texans. That's a winnable game. Commanders. That's a winnable game. They got the Buccaneers. That's a winnable game. Then Titans. I mean, they got then the Vikings. Then the Falcons. Then they play the Saints. So I mean, they have a pretty easy schedule these next few weeks to to really do something. So I'm kind of really on the edge of them. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of like in the middle, man.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. And yeah, with their schedule, they can definitely win games. So they might be able to make the playoffs. I don't think they win the division, but the NFC has it makes sense kind of because like we said, the NFC is weaker, so their teams have better records right now. It's a gauntlet in the AFC. It's war zone every week over there. So they could potentially make the playoffs. I just don't see them like they make the playoffs. I think they're one and done. Yeah. I'm not buying that they're real contenders. But hey, yeah, no. With their schedule, they can just keep stringing together some wins. They will mess around and find themselves in the playoffs. But I think these next 2 weeks will be very telling. They have to go on the road. These first two games have been at home, so that's also been a plus for them. Now they go on the road to Detroit, but kind of it's not like they have anything to do with it, but kind of is lucky that sadly, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is, I don't know if it's official, but he's probably out for the season with a torn pectoral muscle, which sucks for Detroit's defense. They also just potentially lost Amon-Ra St. Brown for a week or two with a toe injury. He didn't practice today. And I believe David Montgomery as well got injured. Yeah. So the Lions are kind of dealing with the injury bug right now, but they're coming off a loss at home versus Seattle. They might be able to catch us slipping, but it'll be a good test to see like this. I think this is their first real test versus what we believe to be a playoff contender or for sure playoff team in Detroit. So see how they do there, and then like I said, the week after that in London versus Jacksonville, I think that'll be a good test as well. So I expect them to be 2-2 after the next 2 weeks. but I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to find a way to win one of these games. Like I said, when they get to the playoffs, one and done for sure. They just have too much talent going to waste over there. And at this point, I just know when that tweet hit the timeline that Brett Veach traded a fourth round conditional pick for Kyle Pitts, it's going to hit like crack because people are going to be like, oh shit, they just got the black version of Travis Kelce over there with Patrick Mahomes. And that's the future right there. Once Travis Kelce, retires, it's Kyle Pitts time. And then imagine being able to, I said Justin Jefferson earlier in the episode. Man, get Kyle Pitts. Imagine 12 personnel. For y'all who don't know, 12 personnel, that's two tight ends. Imagine two tight end sets with Kyle Pitts and Travis Kelce off of play action. Oh my God. Andy Reid dialing up.
Insane, man.
Get Kyle Pitts, man, because they are not using him whatsoever. And it's really sad. How can you not find a way to use a 6'6" tight end that can run a 4.4 40? That you need to be thrown in jail for that. That don't make no sense whatsoever. But next up on 2-0 teams, we're gonna go to we got two other teams in the division, like I said. So New Orleans, we're gonna start with them. Obviously, we both got them to win the NFC South. Me, I had them having a really good record. I'm sticking with it, but I'm teetering on it. Their offense, man, I wanted to be a believer in Derek Carr, and of course, it's a new offense, so hopefully, maybe they'll just keep getting better with time. They're gonna get Alvin Kamara back week 4, so he's only got one more week of his suspension left. But the offense just does not look good. But the reason why I still say I believe in my pick is because New Orleans. Did you know the last 10 games they have held their opponent to 20 points or less?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That defense is balling. So literally, all Derek Carr has to do is get 20 points. And you see, week 1, he was only able to get 16. They still won the game. Yep. So all they have to do is get 3 touchdowns, and they're almost guaranteeing themselves a win with the way that defense is playing ball. So I'm still confident in my Saints to win the NFC South pick, but I think I had them finishing a crazy 14-3. I don't know about that anymore because I feel like Derek Carr would just sell some games. But I think they're for real. With that, if their defense is holding team, I think the next closest streak is 2 games. 10 games in a row holding an NFL team to under 20 points is absolute nuts. That defense is balling. Like I said, this week they sold the -3 cover, but they had Bryce Young in hell all game, which I knew that was going to happen. The offensive line wasn't going to be able to hold up against Cam Jordan and them boys. Of course, you got Marshawn Lattimore and Tyrann Mathieu on the back end. The linebacker is blanking right now, but he's a all-pro, Pro Bowl linebacker. They have talent everywhere on that defense side of the ball, so I expect them to keep carrying. And I think eventually Derek Carr will get into a better groove with that offense. So yeah, I think the Saints 2-0 is for real.
I'm with you. I think they're for real too. The offense definitely needs to get better. Derek Carr definitely needs to show that he's one of the top quarterbacks right now in the league right now. The defense is winning these guys games, and it just need for the offense to step up, man. They have weapons. They have Michael Thomas. They got Chris Olave. They got that
Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, Rashid. Yeah, they got him. He's kind of nice. Yep. Yeah. So like you said, week 4, week 5, whatever they AK coming back. Still got him coming in. So I mean, the offensive pieces are there. It's literally up to Derek Carr to score more than 20 points each week. If he can do that, they can win every game that they play. So yeah, man, it's up to Derek Carr, man. He's a gunslinger. So hey, we need to see. I know, like you said, this is a new offense. But hey, man, you have weapons. There's probably better weapons that you had in the Raiders. It's definitely a way much better defense that you have with the Raiders. So I mean, hey, you have everything that you need right now, man. Show us, man. Come on, don't let us down.
Please don't let us down. we got money on you, Derek. We
Yes.
trusted in you. And it was Demario Davis was the linebacker I was blanking
Yeah.
on. It did come out today. They did just lose their safety, Marcus May. He got suspended for like 4 games, I think, for a substance violation. I don't know if that means he is taking like PEDs or what. But so they did just lose him. But like we said, defense still tough as is, and they're getting Alvin Kamara back. Their schedule coming up. They got the Packers this weekend in Green Bay. It's gonna be a tough game, but I think, especially with what we've seen this weekend with Jordan Love, I think that defense is gonna give him fits and problems. The Green Bay's defense is really good though. So Derek Carr, will he be able to get 20 points? I do not know. I don't have the most confidence in that right now. So they're actually 2-point dogs in that one. So we'll see. Then they got the Buccaneers. I'm not worried about the Bucks because for whatever reason, the Saints love to get up and play when the Bucks come to town or when they travel to Tampa. I know Baker's got them balling, in which we can kind of just segue into Tampa Bay because they're also 2-0 now. But I think the Saints win that one. Then they go on the road to the Patriots, and then they got your Texans. So next 4 weeks, they can win all those games. But I could also see them dropping 2 of those games if Derek Carr doesn't produce 20 points, which is all he needs to do. But yeah, I think they're for real. And then, like I said, we'll move on to Tampa 2-0, week 1. Surprising upset against Minnesota, Baker Mayfield. Uh, he hasn't been like great or anything special, but he's doing what needs. It looks like the year he took Cleveland to the playoffs. Like he has enough talent around him to where as long as he doesn't screw up the game, he can go win you the game. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. So more power to him. Mike Evans is balling. I don't know if his value is kind of up right now the way he's been playing. I don't know if Tampa Bay opts to trade him so they can get something out of him, before it's too late. But they won versus the Bears this weekend. So with the way the Bears are looking and all the drama going over on their side, I don't know how much credit you want to give to the Buccaneers for that win, but hey, a win is a win, and it's a conference win. 2-0. Monday night will be a great test. They're at home. They got Philly. Defense has been playing pretty good. See how they can handle, Jalen Hurts and company. DeAndre Swift coming off his best game in his career, running for over 170 yards. But on the flip side, that Philly secondary has looked god awful. I know Baker Mayfield isn't just like, some quarterback that's just going to throw the ball all around, but there's definitely spots they could take advantage of in that Eagles secondary. Like I said Mike Evans been playing good. You got Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer, who's a kind of a low key sleeper that can easily, get him a touchdown here or there. So it's definitely a good test to kind of gauge where they're really at. Right now, I would literally just say I'm in the middle. I think because they do have a lot of talent in their skill positions, they're always going to be competitive. And as long as Baker Mayfield can take care of the ball for the most part, they should be in games, if not win games. But I think they'll finish second in that division behind New Orleans because they won't beat them. But second in that division will more likely get them into the playoffs in the NFC. So I don't necessarily think they're for real, but I think they are a playoff team with the way they're looking right now.
They're a playoff team, but this is a fluke. This is a fluke, man. This team reminds me of the Seattle Seahawks of last year. We did not think this team was going to, well, I didn't think this team was going to be good at all this year. Same thing with Seattle last year. I didn't think they was going to be good last year. They came out and they was good. This defense playing good right now. Offense kind of playing good right now, whatever. Mike Evans playing out of his mind right now. I'm still not a believer in Baker right now. I don't know. I think this is a fluke, but maybe they prove me wrong and, keep on winning the games. I can see them making the playoffs because the NFC is just that weak. But 2-0, it's kind of crazy. But
yeah, no one saw it coming. Especially week 1. We could have people have seen them beating the Bears, obviously, but the Vikings in Minnesota, no one saw that week 1. But they got the job done. Their next 4 weeks, I will say, is a tough little stretch for them. really 5 because the Bills are that 5th game. But like I said, Monday night versus the Eagles, that game is at home. But then they got to go on the road to New Orleans, divisional game. Like I said, New Orleans usually has their number. Then they got the Lions at home, and then they got the Falcons, another divisional game at home. So it's going to be a lot of tests. Kind of probably see more of the team they truly are over the next 4 weeks. Um, as of right now, I think they lose to the Eagles. I think they lose to the Saints. I could see them beating Detroit at home, and I think they beat the Falcons at home. So I see them going 2-2 over that stretch, which will put them at 4-2, and in a good position to make that playoff push. But like you said on your second point, I don't think they're a contender for real. Obviously, once you get to playoffs, anything can happen. But I wouldn't put any money on it that they win a playoff game or make it to a conference championship or even crazier, make a Super Bowl run. Yeah, I don't see that happening whatsoever. But like I said, they got a lot of talent in their skill positions. Defense, you still got Shaq Barrett, Devin White, Vita Vea. Offense, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans for now, still up in there if he gets traded. Rashad Wright is pretty good running back. So there's talent there. There's talent there for sure. But yeah, I wouldn't take them serious as a contender for sure. So I agree with you there. But last 2-0 team to take serious, Washington, man. They're down 21-3 this weekend versus Denver. Wasn't looking good. Storm all the way back, go up 11 with 4 minutes to go, and you're thinking, oh, they done made the comeback. This game is complete. They're down 8. They punt the ball back to Denver. Denver ends up in a situation where they have to throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game. And instead of batting the ball down like you're taught to do, the defenders on Washington batted the ball up in the air 3 times until it landed in the hands of a Denver Broncos receiver, and they got the Hail Mary. Luckily for them, they got away with the pass interference blatantly in the end zone on the 2-point conversion, so they still won the game. But that would have been one of the most roller coaster games ever for them to go from down 21-3 to up 11 with 4 minutes and then lose on a Hail Mary and a 2-point conversion to send to overtime. That would have been like just too much emotions up and down with that one. But they pulled out the win. They moved to 2-0. Eric Bieniemy has that offense looking really good with Sam Howell, Terry McLaurin, not Bijan, but Brian Robinson. I'm not gonna say I'm a believer in them, only because unfortunately for them, they are in a division with Dallas and Philly. New York, I won't count them right now because I still don't know what they are exactly, and they just lost Saquon for at least this week with the ankle injury. So I like what Washington is building, but as far as this year, I'm not going to take them serious just yet. But they're definitely headed in the right direction, and Eric Bieniemy does have that offense hitting on all cylinders, so I can't knock them for that. But how you feel about Washington? New ownership, new office coordinator with Bieniemy, new quarterback Sam Howell. How you feeling about the Commanders?
I think this is a little fluke too. They barely beat the Cardinals, which you could really say they should have lost. They also barely beat the Broncos, which again you could say they really should have lost the game. Both of them, they came back on both teams. Both bad teams that they barely beat. The offense looks good, yes, but I don't know what it is, man. Brian Robinson looks phenomenal right now. He's been playing, he's been balling out. I just don't know what it is, man. They, I guess they just starts off slow and then they come back at the end and win games. But versus like really good teams, definitely in that division, I'm telling you right now, you won't be able to do like versus the Eagles. You won't be able to do that. Whoop.
Really, the secondary, I don't know. They've been throwing the ball well. Like I said, Philly's secondary, there's a lot of questions in their secondary right now. Will they still be able to beat Philly? I don't know.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, I'm still taking Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. So
for sure. But really, those 3 other teams, I feel like, well, maybe the Giants, they would be able to come back on them, how they playing right now. But I know those 2 other teams, if you get down like that, like how they was down versus the Broncos, most of the time you're not coming back for that.
Yeah, you're not coming back.
from those two teams. So I think it's kind of a little flukish right now. I want to see them versus a little bit more better team than the Broncos and Cardinals. And sure enough, they got a test this week versus the Bills. So if they beat the Bills this week, then it's definitely not a fluke. But right now, I'm calling it a fluke.
Yeah. And they're at home. They have a formidable defense. So who knows? Maybe you get a Josh Allen roller coaster game. He was really good last week, which means he could be really bad this week. So if that's what happens and Washington squeaks away with a win, who knows? But then they got the Eagles at Philly. Last year, of course, they handed Philly their first loss for the season at Philly on that Thursday night game. So it's definitely doable. But I would think they would go 2-2 or be 2-2 after the next 2 weeks because I think they lose both these games. But who knows? With Josh Allen, you never know what you're going to get that day. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has some crucial turnovers and Washington finds a way to win that one. But they can make it through these next 2 weeks with at least one win. That's really good. And then they got the Bears and Falcons after that, which are two very winnable games, I think. So yeah, I'm not necessarily calling it a fluke. I think Washington is like they're in the midst of a semi rebuild, like not a full rebuild, but of course, they just got the new ownership, got some new people in the building to kind of change their culture around. I think their culture is currently in transition to changing for the better. And I just think this year they just so happen to have the two of the top three NFC teams in their division, and they can't compete at that level yet. But as far as everybody else in the NFC, I think they're pretty competitive. So that's kind of how I feel about them. But yeah, that's our segment for 0-2, 2-0 teams. Got one more segment before we get into these picks, and it's to talk about that Monday Night Football game, man. Browns versus Steelers. A lot happened in that game. Opened up the game, Deshaun Watson pick six, and it did go off the receiver's hands or tight end's hands. Very catchable ball, so I'm not going to necessarily put that on Deshaun Watson. But then, of course, you have Nick Chubb dislocates his knee. Mika Fitzpatrick completely obliterated his kneecap with his helmet. Some will say it's a dirty hit. Some will say it's football. I kind of sit in the middle of that. I think Minka kind of dove for his knees without looking, which is always a hazard. But then at the same time, I understand it's Nick Chubb. You hit him in his shoulders or something, he's not going to go down. He's going to run right through you. It sucks. It's just the nature of the game. It's truly violent. Nick Chubb is now out for the season, and I thought he was headed for at least the 1,800-yard rushing season this year, facing the lighter box with Deshaun at quarterback. And then on the flip side, Pittsburgh did squeak out the win, but boy, was it not about the offense, or it didn't have anything to do with the offense. Pittsburgh defense got 2 touchdowns, 6 sacks, one interception, I think 1 fumble recovery. Like their defense had like 30 plus fantasy points. They are literally the only reason they won that game. Matter of fact, I think this was the first time it's ever happened. Pittsburgh had -7 total net yards in the fourth quarter on offense, and were able to come back and win because of the defense and that scoop and score fumble from TJ Watt. And then, them being able to hold Deshaun Watson from getting into field goal range or scoring a touchdown. So the topic for after watching that game is, who is the biggest failure? Deshaun Watson, who looks god-awful, which is why I chose to pick Pittsburgh for my bet last week and fade them, or Matt Canada, Pittsburgh's offensive coordinator, who has Pittsburgh's offense literally the worst in the league right now, has Najee Harris, can't run the ball with him, George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Pat Freiermuth on the offensive side of the ball. They can't throw the ball to them. Offense, like I said, -7 total net yards in the fourth quarter, only put up 1 touchdown on the game, and it wasn't even, they didn't, matter of fact, that's the other weird fact. They did not make it into the red zone 1 time on Monday night. Did you know that either?
I did not know that. And they still won.
And they still won. That's how legendary the defense was Monday night. So obviously that's not going to be repeatable at all. So I was high on the Steelers coming in. to the season, I'm I can't go back on what I said, but yeah, they don't look good whatsoever. Their defense, they're gonna be good. I don't doubt that, but I don't think their defense is gonna be able to carry them. And this is another one of those teams where I'm like, they're so bad relative to what we thought they would be. It's gonna open up the door for another playoff spot for a team like the Chargers, possibly the Bengals if they can get Joe back healthy and make a run. But yeah, man, not impressed with the Steelers. Think Mike Tomlin might be on the verge of having his first losing season, depending on how things shake out. But as of right now, they had us fooled in the preseason. Preseason they were looking good. They played their starters every game. Kenny Pickett was throwing dimes everywhere. They're scoring points. Getting to the regular season, granted, the first week they played the 49ers, one of the better defenses, and then this week, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, a divisional opponent. But no, Pittsburgh does not look good whatsoever on the offensive side of the ball. And just type in Matt Cannon on Twitter or on Twitter. Every tweet is going to be a Steelers fan or some NFL media guy calling for him to be fired immediately because his offensive play calling is that awful. So, yeah, man. I know Deshaun Watson is garbage. Can't throw the ball with accuracy at all. He can still run a little bit, but can't take care of the ball. Too many turnovers. Can't put it together a real solid drive. He's not good in his own right, but after what I just seen from Pittsburgh last week and then some of the few plays I was able to catch from week 1 versus 49ers, I'm going to have to give it to Matt Cannon. That's awful, man. They got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Their offensive line isn't too great, but you don't make it into the red zone the whole game, and then you have negative net yards in the fourth quarter. Yeah, um, they I hope when they got to the locker room they sang their praises to the defense for saving their ass because that's just unacceptable. And then like I was texting Cam during the game Monday, I was like, this is literally a battle of Bill Cosby and Deshaun Watson versus Little Hands and Kenny Pickett, and they both were just pissing me off. I was like, this is awful football both ways. Like all of them are straight garbage. Sean Watson throws an interception. Steelers get the ball. Kenny Pickett turns the ball over. Hand the ball off to Najee Harris. He runs for 1 yard. It makes no sense how bad that Pittsburgh offense is. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna have to give it to Matt Canada. I feel like you probably are on the other side of this, so I'm gonna pass it to you.
Oh, you know I am.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. 230 million. 230 million.
Worst
Really?
contract in history, yeah.
Hands down, really? And he's out here playing like the worst quarterback in NFL right now? Really? Yes, he's the biggest failure, man. Yes, he's by far the biggest failure out right now, man. I understand with the Steelers and stuff like that. I know you expected big things, but I don't really think like the whole like media hearsay expected like big things out of them. But everybody expected big things out of the Browns. And I've been saying since day one, man. Day one, if any quarterback sits out for so long like that without like NFL gameplay, not even NFL game, like football experience, like as a whole for 2 years, you was hurt 1 year, the other year, you just completely just sat out and you wanted to leave, whatever. That's gonna mess with somebody, no matter if you're professional or what. Like that's gonna mess with you, like gameplay wise or whatever. But Deshaun does not look good, like at all. And that and their team is like that's a Super Bowl team. Like that's a Super Bowl caliber team, I feel like. And he's just not getting it done whatsoever. And they have to, he has to go out there and play because you paid him all that money.
230.
230. So I mean, right now, like you said, this is looking like the worst contract in NFL history. I don't know. He just looks horrible, disgustingly bad. So I'm going with Deshaun, man. Hopefully he gets it together. Well, hopefully he doesn't get together because we got his
Draft pick.
draft pick or whatever. So hopefully keep on losing. But But I tell you what, man, it don't get any easier than these upcoming weeks. Let me tell y'all the schedule they got this next couple weeks. Got the Titans. That I know it's at home, but that's not an easy game. Got the Ravens. That's for sure not an easy game. The 49ers not an easy game. The way the Colts been playing, that might be a toss-up. Seahawks game. That's a winnable game. Cardinals, that's definitely a winnable game. They got the Ravens again. They got the Steelers. I mean, he gonna have to do it. He got to
Yeah.
show something, man. He got to show something for sure.
Yeah. And if they don't get it done, like I said, you can't get rid of him. I
Can't
want to
man.
say if they were to cut him after this year, the dead cap hit is like 135 mil. I
It's not
think if they
happening.
cut him next year, it's like 75, and the year after that, it's like 55. So they're literally the worst contract ever. How you give a man 230 mil that's been out of football for 2 years, and then on really the first reason, like the reason why he was out, all of the allegations to even give him that much off that. And then you add into the fact he has been out of football because of that for 2 years. You gave him 230 mil without even seeing how he could possibly return. Like, yeah, that's on them. That's like the epitome of Cleveland football franchise history. Like they've had the most different starting quarterbacks for like the past 3 decades because they can never get it right. They finally get a guy in Baker Mayfield who's not the best, but he got you to the playoffs for the first time in forever. Got you a win at Pittsburgh in the playoff wild card. Almost took the Chiefs down to the wire. Granted, Mahomes got knocked out that game, but still. And then the next year he messes up his shoulder so he isn't the same, and you'll get rid of him for Deshaun Watson and pay Deshaun 230 mil guaranteed. They deserve everything coming to them. Obviously not the part with Nick Chubb. I hate to see Nick Chubb go
I
down,
hate seeing any trouble with him.
but that only makes it that much worse for Deshaun and them because with Nick Chubb, teams had to really respect the running game. Now Jerome Ford looked good and replacing Nick Chubb last game, but he's not Nick Chubb at the end of the day. So teams can now play them a little bit different. And if Deshaun is going to play how he's playing, that offense is going to struggle most likely. They do have a good defense, so they'll probably be able to stay in some games. But will Deshaun Watson be able to win them a lot of those games? More than likely, no. So, yeah, man, Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski's job probably on the line. Like,
Yeah,
you
probably.
can't get rid of Deshaun. This is, I think, his 5th year. They don't make the playoffs or they struggle. Like, he's more than likely gone. And yeah, people keep saying, every week it's a topic like, oh, can we think, do we think Deshaun Watson will get back to not even what he was, but like just anything close to it? And it's like, if you watch him play, he looks awful. Like,
It's horrible.
week one, people saw the score and didn't watch the game, so they thought, oh, like Deshaun Watson got them boys playing good. Like, no, they have Cincinnati's number. Their defense shut them down. Deshaun Watson threw some awful passes in that game. It is what it is. Matter of fact, I think it was like the third possession or so, because I had texted in one of my group chats. He threw a deep ball
Yeah.
to, what was it, Moore?
Somebody.
But it looked like he was throwing the deep ball to the receiver because him and Moore clearly weren't on the same page, and he had stopped the route. And the DB, it was like the DB was running the go route, and it went right through his hands. And I'm like, how do you drop an interception like that? Like, come on. So the only hope they have now is Amari Cooper. That's about it. He looked decent, but other than that, on the offensive side of the ball, they got nothing going for them, really. They did just re-sign Kareem Hunt with, the Nick Chubb situation. But he's going to be running back too behind Jerome Ford. And no telling how he is. Like, I'm sure he's in shape, but he's been a free agent this whole offseason because he bet on himself and nobody picked him up. So, yeah, Cleveland, lucky for you, you did get the dub against Cincinnati. The Ravens, like I said, that's going to be a tough matchup. Maybe they can get a playoff spot in, as a second seed in the AFC North. I think that's still very obtainable with the other teams in the division right now. But Pittsburgh does have the tiebreaker since they won that. They'll play them at home. They still got Ravens both home and away, and then they got Cincinnati at Cincy. So yeah, man, it's gonna be tough for them. And Deshaun Watson does not look like he's ever getting back to MVP caliber play Deshaun Watson that we saw 3 years ago. So yeah, man, I knew you were gonna say Deshaun was an epic failure.
Oh yeah,
Couldn't be
man.
mad at you. I'm just so disappointed in the Steelers, man. I thought they were gonna be way better than what they look like. And
Yeah.
Matt Canada, man, if they have any more bad games, he liable to get killed by the fans walking out the stadium the way they be talking about him on Twitter. I'm telling y'all, if y'all want want to read some comedy posts, go type in Matt Canada's name on Twitter. He was literally trending Monday night because it was that bad. I thought the 3rd-and-1 call that one almost pissed me off. Pittsburgh goes up 26-20 or 26-22 when TJ Watt, takes that fumble recovery into the end zone. And then Deshaun Watson and them immediately punt the ball back, and Pittsburgh has a chance to ice the game. Like I said, you have Najee Harris, who he doesn't look good. But even if you don't want to hand to him, you got TJ Warren, who's averaging like 4 yards per carry. Hand it to one of them. Why on God's green earth would you run an RPO and have Kenny Pickett keep the ball on 3rd-and-1? And he gets absolutely smacked 2 yards behind the line, and then they punt it back. And I'm like, bruh, am I about to get like double hold on my bet? Because Saints -3 was already a push. If Cleveland would have went down and scored a touchdown and kicked the extra point, they would have won by 3, and it would have been a double push, and the bet would have just been completely even, money back, no win. So yeah, I was on edge after that. I was like, no way. Like up until that point, I was like, yeah, this is bad. But when they called that, I was like, yeah, I agree with the fans. This guy's got to go. There's no way you sat up there on 3rd-and-1 after watching how this game played out and said, yeah, let me dial up a Kenny Pickett fake handoff QB draw. No, yeah. Matt Canada got to go. Deshaun Watson got to go, but he can't go because of the contract they gave him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ends our topics for how the week 2 went in the NFL. Gonna kick it off or end it with the bets. Like I said earlier, I hate all of the lines this week. I've been looking and looking. I have no straight bets as of right now. I have 2 teasers, and I'm probably gonna add a player prop here or there. I might call it a week because these lines are super steep, are super close, and they all feel like traps. And even my teasers, I follow the good rule of teaser. You always tease through 3 or 7 points. So I feel good about it, but I could still see myself getting played in one of the games. So that I have 2 teasers, like I said. I don't know. We haven't talked about any of the bets, but how many bets you got for this week?
I got 2. I got 2 regular bets. And I got 2 prop bets, player props.
Okay, give us your 2 player prop bets first. Let's kick it off with that.
So the first one, man, I got Zay Flowers over 48 and a half. They got the Colts this week. I just think, he's always receiver 1. I think that's still kind of too low for him, 48 and a half.
And Odell's out, right? Because he hurt his ankle. Or he might play it.
I think he's trying to play through it, but he's still banged up. Either way, I still think Zay should get that.
Yeah, I like that.
And then the other one is Jordan Addison again. This time it boosted up to 49 and a half. They play the Chargers. It should be a complete shootout. Both sides should be throwing the ball left and right. So I'm expecting Jordan Addison to have a big game this week. Same with Zay Flowers. I'm expecting both of them to have a big game this week. So yeah, man, those 2.
Yeah, I like those. The player props I was eyeing are from that game as well. I was gonna put Kirk Cousins over for his passing yards, whatever that is, and Justin Jefferson because it's probably gonna be maybe at 100 or a little less, but he's got the most yards in the league, and while he hasn't been able to find the end zone, because I might sprinkle on him getting a touchdown finally too, he gonna get his yards. Like he's getting the yards. He's getting 150 plus every game. So I was gonna bet that. But those lines, official lines, haven't came out yet. So yeah, but those are the player props I was on, and then I like the Addison pick, of course, again doubling down week 2. So honestly, I might throw all those in a prize picks parlay.
Prospects, yeah.
Which that was also a thing. We don't really do prize picks necessarily for the picks, but I can start tweeting some of those out as well. Because last week I did hit. I only made 2 prize pick parlay picks. I actually made 3. One of them I made for a friend, and that one hit. It was a Thursday night one. I had DeAndre Swift over, Addison over, Kirk Cousin over, and I want to say it's a fourth one. Oh, it was Justin Jefferson's yards cash
Yeah, sure.
for 500. Then I hit one for 200 this weekend that had Shador Sanders over, which that double overtime definitely. That's literally the only reason I got that, because in double OT he threw the ball to Weaver, who was also on the parlay for over 78.5 yards. Going into double OT, Shador had 320 yards, I think, and Weaver had 76 yards receiving. In college OT, they start the ball at the 25. So I'm like, damn, like, he probably not going to get it. He threw for 10 the first play to Weaver. Then the next play, they got a holding penalty that put them back 10 yards. And then he threw for another 20. And I was like, boom, we cashed out right there.
That's
And then
wild.
that also had Kirk Cousins and stuff on that. So I hit that. And then I had a 6-legger that I didn't completely hit because the last leg was Jalen Waddle over 4.5 receptions. And on his potential 5th reception was when he got knocked out the game with the concussion. So that one was a push, and I only ended up winning 100 off that. But yeah, the prize picks looking good. I actually have one already put in place this week. I had Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, Isaiah Pacheco yards. That was my other leg on the one from last week. I'm scared about that one because Pacheco was on the injury report today with like a bruised hamstring or something like that. And then I have Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and I put John Quell Jones, the center for the New York Liberty, yesterday to get over 24 points, rebounds, assists. She got 33 points of rebound. Like she too big
Damn.
for she was too big for the Washington Mystics. So that was an easy cash to get us started right on the right foot for that parlay. And so yeah, those 3 legs, Pacheco, Cousins, and Jefferson, are what I'm banking on this week. So yeah, those are the player props I definitely been eyeing. I'll definitely start sharing some of the prize pick stuff because I always dabble in that just to see what we can hit on the side. See if we can make up for any losses that we might incur on the actual bets for the weekend. But yeah, let's hop into the game picks. What game picks are you looking at? Because I have a few ones that are intriguing, but like I said, I just don't like any of the lines, so I didn't pull the trigger on any of them yet. But maybe you can persuade me with what you got.
Yeah, there's definitely I only have 2 of them, but yeah, most pretty much all of them are pretty close, or I feel like they're like trap games, like that Miami Broncos game. Like I know it's -6.5, but that's kind of like a trap game, I feel like. But my first game, man, I got Titans plus 3.5, man. Um, Titans been looking good. They've been game managing well, I feel like. The Browns have not been looking good at all. They just lost Nick Chubb. I know they got Jerome Ford back there, but Titans one of the better, run defenses in the league. Also they had Kareem Hunt or whatever, but I think they're gonna shut down that run pretty much. And they're gonna try to make Deshaun throw the ball a lot. And I feel like it's not gonna work out in the Browns' favor. And I'm expecting Titans to cover that 3.5. I don't know if they're gonna win the game, but I think they'll cover that 3.5. I may sprinkle on the money line, but yeah, I got that Titans 3.5.
I'm not mad at that. Fade Cleveland. Like I said, Deshaun Watson is not good, and Mike Vrabel gonna have that defense ready to play. The only thing that scares me is Ryan Tannehill's on the other
The
side,
other side.
and you don't know what he's gonna do. He might sell you, but as far as defense goes, yeah, I think that'll be a defensive battle versus terrible quarterback. So it'll be a lot of stops in that game, and I can see that being a field goal game for whoever wins. So I like the plus 3.5 cover there. I'm gonna let you throw out your last pick, and then I'm gonna throw out my teasers. Um, so second game pick for the week. Who you got?
My second one, man. Now, the team they playing, I've been going with this team But the team they playing against, I've been going with this team for the past 2 weeks, and now I'm on the other side. I'm going with the Saints money line. It's plus money right now. I think at plus 110 right now. Saints money line, man. They play the Packers this week. I think they get it done. How do you you look like you got the Packers.
No, I don't have the Packers. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I've been this one of the games I've been looking at. My heart, because I have the Saints winning their division. I have them being really good. I want to bet the Saints. I just don't know if I could trust Derek Carr. I'm like, because I have all the faith in the world in that defense being able to shut down Jordan Love, but I know Green Bay also has a really good defense. I'm like, Derek Carr, it just takes one stupid mistake for you to screw this up and give them the game. And I think Aaron Jones is back. So I was just like, it's probably best I just stay away. But I'm going to be rooting for you on that one. I want the Saints to win. I think they can win. It's just, I just need to see, I need to sit back and look at Derek Carr a little bit, see if he can progress any. Because right now, it's just like some of the throws he be making and be like, bro, you look like the old Derek Carr. Like, this is why. Like, I get you didn't have a good defense in Las Vegas / Oakland, but some of these throws you made is like, this is also why y'all were bad. Like, it wasn't just the defense, it was you. Exactly, like, you're just not a top-notch quarterback. You're just very middle of the pack quarterback. But with the Saints defense, it should be able to get it done. He just has to stay away from the turnovers. That interception he threw on Monday versus Carolina, where he just sat back on his back foot and he just kind of like lobbed it, thinking he had Chris Olave open over the top, and the whole time the corner is just lurking back there, and he just gets the easiest pick of his life. I'm like, Derek, come on now, you've been in the league too long to be making a mistake like that. Almost handed Carolina the game, so. That's what scares me with the Saints, but I like the pick. I'm rooting for the Saints. But yeah, I'm gonna sit back and just evaluate Derek Carr for a bit. But yeah, those are Cam's 4 picks for y'all. So if y'all listening, last week, like I said, we got y'all some money. This week we're going for 2 weeks in a row. Get y'all some money again. Go ahead and lock those in right now. And then, like I said, I got 2 teasers for y'all. My first teaser, so 3-team teaser. Plus 8 points. These are all the heavy favorites, which is why I did the teaser, because I can see some of them not covering the spread necessarily, because they are playing another NFL team at the end of the day. But all of these teams, I feel like, should be able to cover these spreads that I got it down to in the teaser fairly easy with their matchups. So Dallas Cowboys, who are 12-point favorites versus the Cardinals, and they're at home. Kansas City Chiefs, my Chiefs, we're -13 versus Chicago, who they got so much going wrong with them right now. I don't know if you've seen the defensive coordinator stuff today. Like, the FBI raided his house. Apparently, then they said, no, he didn't, but he stepped down and resigned from the team. Justin Fields didn't even really say it was the reason for the coaching, that way he's playing so bad, but it really is. But now, you got those rumors going out there. So then he had to go back and was like, you know what? If anything goes bad, it's all me. Like, I don't care. I'm never gonna put anything on my team in this locker room. Just put it all on me. If I throw a pick, but the receiver could have caught it, still just put it on me. And it's like, man, y'all, Chicago is in hell. So I'm hoping my Chiefs in a get right game, they can handle business there. But we're -13-point favorites, which is like real steep. Then the 49ers -10.5 favorites tomorrow night versus the Giants, who just ruled out Saquon Barkley. So an 8-point teaser plus 105 odds. I got the Cowboys at -4, my Chiefs at -5, 49ers at -2.5. Feel like that is very much achievable for all those teams. And barring some major mistakes, they should cover these spreads not fairly easy, but they should be able to win these games by at least a touchdown. Mm-hmm. My Chiefs have been playing me these past 2 weeks with bets. So because of that, I did another teaser, but I took my Chiefs out of it just in case they choose to play me once again. And I input the Miami Dolphins in their place at -6. And I just did a 7-point teaser this time because the lines actually had changed when I put this one in this morning. The first teaser I just gave you, I put that in a couple days ago. But they had Dallas at -11.5 today, Miami -6, San Francisco -10. because the Saquon news was still up in the air. So I did a 7-point teaser for plus 120. Cowboys negative 4.5. Miami plus 1. San Francisco minus 3. So still very achievable, I think. 1.5 units on the first teaser, 1 unit on this plus 121. Like I said, I'll probably add a player prop or two. But as far as the straight bets, I'm gonna just stay away. All these lines seem really funky. A lot of trap games everywhere. Just gonna take the teaser, take the points, try to get it down. Hopefully the top dogs prevail as they should versus the teams they're playing. But who knows? Any given Sunday, right, man? But yeah, that's
Yes,
how
sir.
I'm feeling for week 3. They said Cam gave y'all 2 player props. Take that Jordan Addison one to the bank again. Cashed out last week over 42.5. Now I think you said this week is 49.5. But they're gonna take their shots.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Minnesota. There's one thing they can do is throw the football. So definitely, take Jordan Addison over 49.5. Your other player prop, I'm blanking right now. What was the other one?
Zay Flowers,
Zay
48 and a
Flowers
half.
or 48.5. That's really low. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I didn't check the stats on what he had this past week, but I'm guessing it wasn't as good as his first game. But I think, especially with the Odell news, even though Odell might still try to play, I think 48.5 should be an easy
Very
bet. I
good.
think he'll
Yeah.
be the go-to this weekend for sure. And then 2 games, got the Saints ML as the 2-point underdogs versus the Packers, and then got the Titans plus 3.5 versus the Cleveland Browns. I like those bets a lot. Like I said, quarterback play is really the biggest question there. Will
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill or Derek Carr sell us? Who knows? It's to be seen, to be decided. And then my teasers: Chiefs, Cowboys, 49ers, 8-point teaser. Then Dolphins, Cowboys, 49ers, 7-point teaser. Take them all to the bank. We'll see you Tuesday. Well, we won't see Tuesday, but we'll be recapping Tuesday morning on the podcast Twitter. Socials are in the link below. So if you don't follow us there, go ahead and follow us because I'm liable to maybe add a player or two that I might end up liking by the end of this week or
Right.
Sunday morning before the game starts, and I'm gonna tweet it out. So if you're not following, you're not gonna be able to get in on the extra money we piling up. I might post some more prize picks parlays because we got a group chat, and my group chat has actually been hitting prize picks for like the last 4 weeks. We've been running it up. So I might share some of those. So we're trying to give y'all multiple avenues to get this money. So y'all need to lock them in. Appreciate you as always if you listen all the way through, man. Your favorite kids from the neighborhood signing off again. Bryce, my dog Cam. You already know what it is. We out, man.
And we're knocking on your door. Can you give us something more?
I need it.